times have as their mark being without marks. One mark by itself is already unreal, let alone 32 marks. Answer. The attributes of the Buddha are of two kinds. 1. Of conventional truth. 2. Of absolute truth. From the point of view of the conventional truth, we say that the Buddha has 32 marks. From the point of view of the absolute truth, we say that he is without marks. There are two paths. 1. The first commits beings to cultivate the path of merit. 2. The second is the path of wisdom. For the path of merit, we say that the Buddha has 32 marks. For the path of wisdom, we say that he has no marks. In regard to the body of birth, we say that he has 32 marks. In regard to the body of dharma, we say that he has no marks. By its 32 major and 80 minor marks, the body of the Buddha adorns the body of the dharma. By its 10 powers, 4 fearlessnesses, its 4 unhindered knowledges, its 18 special attributes and other qualities, it adorns beings. There are two kinds of causes and conditions. 1. Causes and conditions for merit. 2. Causes and conditions for wisdom. In order to guide beings by means of the causes and conditions of merit, the Buddha uses the body endowed with the 32 marks. In order to guide beings by means of the causes and conditions for wisdom, he uses the Dharma body. There are two kinds of beings. 1. Those who know that dharmas are pure designations. 2. Those who are attached to names. For beings attached to names, we say that the Buddha has no marks. For beings who take dharmas as pure designations, we say that the Buddha has 32 marks. Question. But the 10 powers, the 4 fearlessnesses and the other qualities each have their special mark. How can you say that the Dharma body is without marks? Answer. Because they are associated with the 16 aspects of the truths and the 3 concentrations, all the pure qualities are said to be without marks. Wanting beings to penetrate them, the Buddha analyzed them in many ways and said that all the attributes of the Buddha, marked with the seal of emptiness, signlessness and wishlessness, all partake in suchness, the fundamental element, the pinnacle of the truth. However, so that beings would rejoice and produce the mind of bodhi on seeing his body, the Buddha shows them his body adorned with the 32 marks. Moreover, in order to manifest his great superiority to all beings, the Buddha shows his 32 marks without, however, offending the principle of the absence of marks. The horoscope of the Bodhisattva. On the 7th day after the birth of the Bodhisattva, he was wrapped in white woolen blankets and the experts in signs were summoned. The latter, having consulted an old venerable book of signs, they made a prediction and said to the king, according to our diagrams, if the person who is endowed with the 32 marks stays at home, he will become a noble Chakravartin king. If he leaves home, he will become a Buddha. There are only these two possibilities, there is no third. When the experts in signs went away, the Bodhisattva fell asleep. The prediction of Asita. Again, there was a RSI named Rsseut who said to King Ching-fan, by means of my divine ear, I heard the Devas and Yakshas announcing that King Suddhodana had just had a son endowed with the bodily marks of a Buddha. That is why I have come to visit him. The king was very happy and said, this man is a noble RSI, come from afar to see my son. He ordered his servants to go and get the crown prince, but they said to the king, the crown prince is sleeping. Then Asita said, let the noble king invite everybody. Those who are satisfied with ambrosia cannot sleep. Saying this, he rose from his seat and went to get the crown prince. He took him in his arms, examined him from head to toe, and, having examined him, burst into tears uncontrollably. Greatly moved, the king asked the expert in signs, is there something unfortunate that makes you weep like that? The RSI answered, if even the sky could rain down a mountain of diamonds, it would be unable to move a single hair of this child. How then could any misfortune menace this child? The crown prince will definitely become a Buddha. As for myself, in the evening of this present year, I will be reborn in the formless heavens so that I will be unable either to see the Buddha or hear his teachings. That is why I am so sad. The king said, The experts in science did not come to one single solution. They said that if my son remained at home, he would become a noble Chakravartin king, and if he went forth from home he would become a Buddha. Asita replied, the experts in science base themselves on worldly convention and deductive knowledge, and not on the divine eye. They know the holy books of prognosis, but they do not know the future fully and completely. They consider the marks in general, but are unable to interpret them clearly. That is why they say that if the crown prince remains at home he will become a noble Chakravartin king, but if he goes forth from home he will become a Buddha. Now the 32 marks are indeed complete in the crown prince, clearly imprinted, very deep, pure and complete. He will certainly become a Buddha and not a Chakravartin king. By this, we know that the Buddha, by means of his 32 marks, is far superior to all beings. If we speak of the absence of marks, it is in order to destroy the purely imaginary marks, such as the marks of eternity, purity and happiness, the marks of self, the marks of man or woman, to birth or death, etc. Thus, although the attributes of the Buddha have as their mark being without marks, by manifesting his 32 marks, the Buddha leads beings to recognize the primacy and to experience pure faith toward him. Speaking of the 32 marks is not a fault. Vi. Justification of the number of marks. Question. Why assume 32 marks, no more and no less? Answer. Assuming more or assuming less would provoke difficulties in either case. Furthermore, the body of the Buddha is 6 arm spans in height. If he had less than 32 marks, they would not extend on all sides and would insufficiently ornament him. If he had more than 32 marks, they would be disorderly in arrangement. It is like jewels adorning the body. Even if a large quantity of pearls is used, it is not fitting to be overloaded with necklaces. This is why the target is reached with exactly 32 marks. Finally, if this small number of marks really adorns him imperfectly, the Buddha still has 80 minor marks. Going beyond that would not be appropriate. Question. If 80 minor marks must be added, why not call them marks, and why give them the special name of minor marks? Answer. The marks adorn a body particularly, and to mention these major marks is to imply the minor ones. Moreover, the major marks are coarse whereas the minor marks are fine. When beings see the Buddha they see his major marks. The minor marks, on the other hand, are hard to see. Finally, the major marks are commonly obtained by other men. The minor marks are sometimes shared and sometimes special. This is why we speak of the major and minor marks separately. VII. Why is the Buddha adorned with non-existent marks? Question. The Buddha cut through the mark of existence, the mark of substantial self absolutely, and was satisfied with the mark of empty dharmas. Why then does he adorn his body in the manner of those who seize characteristics? Answer. If the Buddha adorned just his mind with wonderful attributes, and if his body were lacking the major and minor marks, some beings capable of being converted would mistake him under the pretext that the Buddha is without bodily marks. They would not welcome the Buddha Dharma with open hearts. Thus, if one filled a dirty bowl with choice food, the latter